Hello friends. Spain, what have you just done? La Roja demolished France 2-0 in Dallas to book their place in the 2026 World Cup final, their first since lifting the trophy in 2010. Mikel Oyarzábal's penalty and a clinical Pedro Porro finish sent France crashing out, with Kylian Mbappé barely touching the ball in the box all game. And while the world watches Spain, the transfer market keeps spinning. Mason Greenwood is officially a Fenerbahce player, and Arsenal are closing in on a new winger. If you're enjoying this kind of breakdown, drop a like. It genuinely helps us keep this format going. So now, let's get the show on the pitch. Spain beat France 2-0 in Dallas to reach their first men's World Cup final since winning the tournament in 2010. Mikel Oyarzábal's penalty and Pedro Porro's clinical finish secured the win. Spain will face England or Argentina on July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New York. Pedro Porro's finish to double Spain's lead was his second World Cup goal, and only his second international goal ever. Dani Olmo flicked the ball into his path under pressure, and Porro was clinical. Kylian Mbappé touched the ball just twice in Spain's penalty area during the entire first half, the statistic that, according to L'Équipe, best captures France's total powerlessness against a dominant Spanish side. Patrick Vieira did not hold back after the final whistle, stating that France didn't turn up and made it too comfortable for Spain. Les Bleus were second best throughout and failed to create any meaningful chances. Journalist Sasha Tavolieri was scathing. "This is the biggest waste in the history of French football, perhaps of football altogether. You had individuals at an exceptional level. You messed everything up." He called it a sad exit for Deschamps. Adrien Rabiot was booked in just the 9th minute of the semi-final, and Didier Deschamps decided not to take any risks. Manu Koné came on for him at halftime. It was a decision that further disrupted France's midfield structure. Michael Olise was substituted off in the 73rd minute for France, another sign of Les Bleus' struggles to make an impact going forward against a well-organized Spanish defense. On social media, people noted that Yamal played aggressively against the French national team star. After the match, he also said that helping the team was more important to him than padding his own stats, in a veiled reference to the Real Madrid star. Before halftime, a free kick awarded to Ousmane Dembélé was controversially cancelled, apparently due to the intervention of an assistant to referee Yvan Barton, and turned into a dropped ball instead. The decision left the French camp frustrated. Spain have now beaten France in 3 consecutive World Cup semi-finals. Luis de la Fuente's side conceded just once throughout the entire tournament on their way to the final, where they will play at MetLife Stadium in New York on July 19th. Jordan Henderson and Quansah are set to be the only absentees for England's World Cup semi-final against Argentina. Thomas Tuchel is reportedly considering keeping faith with the same back four that beat Norway. England could make just one change for the Argentina clash, with Bukayo Saka coming in to replace Noni Madueke. Tuchel is expected to keep faith with the same defensive setup. Thousands of England fans have descended on Atlanta for the semi-final against Argentina. The FBI has reportedly described the fixture as the highest-risk match of the tournament, with Lionel Messi set for his first World Cup showdown with the Three Lions. Fenerbahce have confirmed the signing of Mason Greenwood from Marseille on a 4-year contract. The fee is €39 million, approximately $42 million, paid in 3 equal installments over 3 years. Manchester United received €12.48 million after Getafe's share from a sell-on clause. According to reports, Arsenal are considering a swap deal involving Victor Gyökeres and Julian-Álvarez. No further details have been confirmed at this stage. Barcelona have reportedly been put on alert by the latest developments at Tottenham Hotspur. The details remain thin, but the Spanish giants are monitoring the situation closely. FIFA has introduced a new match ball for the World Cup semi-finals, switching it up after 100 games of the tournament. The change has raised eyebrows among players and fans alike. Spain are going to the World Cup final. In one of the most dominant semi-final performances in recent World Cup history, Spain dismantled France 2-0 in Dallas on July 13th to book their place in the 2026 World Cup final. It is only the second time Spain have reached the Men's World Cup final. The first was in 2010, when they lifted the trophy. And this time, La Roja look every bit as dangerous. Mikel Oyarzabal opened the scoring with a composed penalty, and Pedro Porro, with only his second ever international goal, doubled the lead with a clinical finish after Dani Olmo flicked the ball perfectly into his path. France, who had been chasing a third consecutive final, never looked like getting back into the match. Kylian Mbappé touched the ball just twice in Spain's box in the entire first half, a damning number that tells the story of the night. The French were hampered further when Adrien Rabiot picked up a yellow card in the 9th minute, forcing Didier Deschamps to replace him with Manu Kone at halftime. William Saliba also departed early due to an injury. Even a controversial moment, a free kick awarded to Ousmane Dembélé that was cancelled by an assistant referee and turned into a dropped ball, failed to spark Les Bleus into life. Journalist Sacha Tavolieri called it the biggest waste in the history of French football. For Spain, it was a masterclass in tactical discipline. Luis de la Fuente got his setup exactly right, and Rodri was colossal in the middle of the park. Spain have now beaten France in 3 consecutive World Cup semi-finals, and they have conceded just once in the entire tournament. Their opponents in the final at MetLife Stadium in New York on July 19th will be either England or Argentina, a mouth-watering prospect for the whole football world. Spain are in the 2026 World Cup final. A 2-0 victory over France in Dallas, built on Mikel Oyarzabal's penalty and Pedro Porro's clinical second-half finish, sends Luis de la Fuente's side to MetLife Stadium in New York on July 19th. It is their first men's World Cup final since they won the whole thing in 2010. And this generation looks capable of going all the way again. The performance was defined by Rodri. The Manchester City midfielder was, by widespread consensus, colossal, controlling the tempo, breaking up French attacks, and driving Spain forward with authority. France, who had been targeting a 3rd consecutive final appearance, were nullified from the first whistle. Deschamps' side managed just 2 touches for Kylian Mbappé in Spain's penalty area in the entire first half, a statistic that captures how completely Spain suffocated their opponents. The goals themselves were well crafted. Oyarzabal stepped up to convert the penalty with composure, and Porro's finish, set up by a clever flick from Dani Olmo under pressure, was his 2nd international goal in as many World Cup matches. Spain have now conceded just once across the entire tournament, a defensive record that underlines just how well organized De La Fuente's side has been. Spain will face either England or Argentina in the final, with that 2nd semi-final taking place in Atlanta. Marca noted that this is the 3rd successive World Cup semi-final in which Spain have beaten France, a remarkable head-to-head record. If they can replicate this level on July 19th, a 2nd World Cup title looks very much within reach. Mason Greenwood has officially left Marseille to join Fenerbahce on a 4-year contract. The fee is €39 million, approximately $42 million, paid in 3 equal installments over 3 years. It is a significant move for the 24-year-old English forward, who spent last season in League One. The financial structure of the deal has an interesting wrinkle for Manchester United. Because United retained a sell-on clause when Greenwood originally left Old Trafford, they are entitled to a percentage of this transfer fee. According to Ben Jacobs, United will receive €15.6 million from the full fee. However, €3.12 million of that passes on to Getafe, who also held a sell-on right from an earlier transaction. That leaves Manchester United with a net windfall of €12.48 million, roughly $13.5 million, from a player who no longer plays for them. For Fenerbahce, this is a statement signing. The Turkish giants are bringing in a player who has shown genuine Premier League and League One quality, and a 4-year commitment signals serious long-term intent. Greenwood had been linked with several clubs, but Fenerbahce moved decisively to get the deal done. The transfer also closes a chapter that began with considerable controversy at Manchester United. Greenwood's path from Old Trafford to Getafe to Marseille and now to Istanbul has been unconventional, but on the pitch he has continued to perform. Whether this move represents a stepping stone back to one of Europe's elite leagues remains to be seen. But at $42 million, Fenerbahce are clearly betting on his best years being ahead of him. Arsenal's summer recruitment drive is moving quickly. Christos Tzolis has personally informed the club that he wants to join, and club-to-club talks with Club Brugge are set to accelerate. The Greek winger is expected to cost between £30 million and £35 million, approximately $38 to $44 million, depending on the structure of the deal. Brugge are willing to sell this summer. Tzolis has been one of the standout performers in Belgian football in recent seasons, and his direct running and goal threat have attracted interest from several top clubs. The fact that he has proactively expressed his desire to move to Arsenal gives the Gunners a significant advantage in negotiations. The player is pulling in the same direction as the club. Importantly, Ben Jacobs has confirmed that Tzolis' proposed arrival has no bearing on Arsenal's separate pursuit of Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers. Arsenal appear to be building depth across their attacking positions, rather than treating this as an either-or situation. That suggests Mikel Arteta's side are planning for a squad that can compete on multiple fronts next season. With the Premier League season approaching and Arsenal determined to challenge for the title, the pace of their transfer business this summer reflects real ambition. If both Tzolis and Rogers arrive, Arsenal's attacking options will look considerably more varied and more dangerous. France's miserable night in Dallas was compounded by an injury to William Saliba. The Arsenal and France defender was taken off early during the World Cup semi-final against Spain, adding a physical blow to what was already a deeply disappointing evening for Les Bleus. Saliba had been one of France's most reliable performers throughout the tournament, bringing composure and quality to the back line. His early departure disrupted France's defensive shape at a critical moment, though in truth Spain were already in control of the match by that point. The full extent of the injury has not been confirmed by official sources at the time of reporting. For Arsenal, this is a concern heading into preseason preparations. Saliba is central to Mikel Arteta's defensive plans, and any significant layoff would be a blow for the Gunners as they look to mount a title challenge. The club will be monitoring the situation closely over the coming days. France's exit brings a difficult summer of reflection for Didier Deschamps and his squad. With Mbappé barely touching the ball in Spain's box, Rabiot forced off at halftime, Saliba injured, and the team widely criticized for a lack of intensity, questions will be asked about the direction of French football. For Saliba personally, the hope will be that the injury is minor, and that he can return to full fitness well before Arsenal's campaign gets underway. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting football news. Stay tuned for our next video. Until then, take care and see you soon.